Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the F-4S Phantom in War Thunder in 2024. The F-4 Phantom is a legendary American jet, and the F-4S variant brings some interesting upgrades to the table. But how does it hold up in the current meta in 2024? Let's find out. Before we get into its in-game stats, let's take a brief look at the history of the F-4S. Developed from the iconic F-4 Phantom II, the F-4S was introduced in the late 1970s, featuring upgraded avionics and manoeuvrability enhancements, including leading-edge slats to promote low-speed handling. In War Thunder, the F-4S sits at rank 7 in the US tech tree and offers improved agility and versatility compared to its predecessors. Thanks to these upgrades, let's see how it performs in-game. Right, let's dive into the performance of the F-4S. Powered by two General Electric turbojet engines, it can reach impressive top speeds. While the F-4S is fast, its acceleration is not on par with more modern jets, so positioning is key to making the most out of its speed. Most other planes at this BR will beat it off the runway. In terms of agility, the addition of the leading edge slats improves the F-4S's turning ability compared to earlier Phantom variants, but it is still not as nimble as jets like the F-16 or MiG-29. It can also struggle in extended dogfights due to its size and weight. As for armament, the F-4S comes well equipped. It carries the AIM-7F Sparrow semi-active radar homing missiles for long-range engagements. It can also carry the AIM-9H, a relatively reliable infrared missile. Keep an eye out for flares as they can still be defeated. Additionally, the F-4S can also choose to take a 20mm gun pod, which is highly recommended, even with the weight penalty this adds. This gun pod is quite powerful and has a decent rate of fire and a decent ammo capacity to boot. As for other equipment, the F-4S has a relatively decent radar set. This features pulse Doppler mode and also has helmet mounted display capability, also known as HMD. This allows you to freely look around and lock targets under your crosshair. This can be very useful and pairs well with the AIM-7F. The RWR this plane is equipped with is usable, if slightly confusing for some players, with the display showing the band of the detected radar as mid, high, low or question mark. I've seen some newer players believe this refers to the height of the opponent's plane, but that is not the case, it's the band of the radar. The majority of pings you'll see on this RWR will be the question mark. These are most pulse radar sets. Many of these do not also give an additional launch warning. Finally, the high detection is generally J-band radar. This is highly likely to be a MiG-23 launching an R-24R if you do see this. The F-4S can carry 60 countermeasures. This gives you a usable amount of flare and chaff for this BR, though some of the planes do have a higher capacity at this BR. This plane also has a full ballistic computer for rockets, bombs and guns, as well as having EEGS, also known as radar gun sight. This pairs very well with the HMD in closer range fights. And finally, the F-4S has two crew members, a pilot and the radar intercept officer. Okay, let's break down the pros and cons of the F-4S Phantom. First up is the loadout. It's very versatile, allowing a combination of AIM-7F Sparrows and AIM-9H Sidewinders. This gives you options for both long, mid and close range combat. You can also carry bombs and rockets for ground attack missions if you are so inclined, though it would be recommended to stick with an air-to-air loadout for Air RB in order to save weight. The HMD is quite useful for picking your targets. It also allows you to do some off-bore shots with the AIM-7F and AIM-9H. And the leading edge slats enhance your low speed agility, making it a slightly more capable dogfighter compared to earlier Phantoms. This can catch some opponents unaware who expect you to manoeuvre as slowly as older Phantom variants. That said, it is still a Phantom, so you won't be winning most dogfights, especially in an up tier. The best use of this manoeuvrability is to assist with getting your missiles on target by leading your shots. And now for the cons. While the agility is improved thanks to the slats, the F-4S is still a large and somewhat sluggish jet in close range dogfights. It is still a Phantom at the end of the day, and it is a relatively easy target to hit up close, especially given that the fuel tanks are quite large. This can result in cannon hits, sending you back to the hangar. The AIM-9H sidewinders are quite potent, but they are also easily distracted by enemy flares. They're best used under 3 kilometers on unaware target. And finally, one quirk of this plane's radar set coupled with the Sparrows. The AIM-7Fs occasionally do like to fly off into the distance even though you've locked the target and they haven't pop chaff. To get the most out of the F-4S in War Thunder, here are some key tips. Your main weapon in the F-4S is the AIM-7F Sparrow, so mastering this is essential. This missile is great for longer range kills. Use your radar to lock on and engage enemies before they can get close. This missile is effective between 3 and 15 kilometers, with shots under 10 kilometers having a much higher hit chance. It can also occasionally be used for longer range yeet shots on unaware head-on targets. I've hit some 28 and 29 kilometer shots in the past. The final tip would be to get the right loadout. My personal loadout is to take 5 Sparrows and 2 Sidewinders, plus the gun pod. This gives a high amount of semi-active radar homing missiles, whilst keeping some infrared missiles for up close when they are needed. So, is the F-4S still worth flying in 2024? If you replay a set on grinding the American Air Tech tree, this plane would likely be the best choice, when on sale of course. It allows for some interesting playstyles with its loadout and HMD capability, and it can also take bombs for base bombing if that is your thing. If you're a US ground RB player looking to simply add a premium to your lineup for close air support, the F-4S would not really be recommended. Whilst it does have a large selection of unguided ordnance, there are much better US premium strike aircraft, such as the A6E Tram, which can drop laser guided bombs from space in ground RB matches. And that about wraps up our breakdown of the F-4S Phantom in War Thunder in 2024. What do you think of this jet? Have you flown it? Or are you considering getting it in the next sale? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification button. Thanks for watching.